You with the boxing guru for this episode of Under the Microscope. We're going to focus in on Toledo's own Albert the Prince Bell and his upcoming fight August the 14th on ESPN+. Albert is inching closer and closer to the spot he needs to be to get a eliminator bout or a title fight. In my opinion, this is going to happen next year after the dust settled between Oscar Valdez after his fight with Robinson. Robinson, I forgot his last name, Kasekio or something like that. Sorry if I butchered his name. But Oscar Valdez should beat him because he's the number 15th guy. Oscar took the weakest route instead of fighting Albert Bell, who's ranked kind of high in the WBO or the IBF rankings. So Oscar wanted a hometown fight. It would have been electrifying if he could have fought Albert, since Oscar was, I don't know if he was born in Toledo, Ohio, then moved to Arizona. But that would have been a dope fight if him and Albert could have got it on, because they could have put that as two hometown fighters fighting each other. In my opinion, Albert would smoke Oscar Valdez. Albert's boxing skill is too much for Oscar Valdez. Albert controlling the ring and the distance and the movement in there will offset Oscar. Oscar would not be able to land too many punches on Albert Bell. So I would see Albert winning that fight in a unanimous decision, maybe 8-4 or 9-3, total domination if Albert follows the game plan, which he normally does because he's a smooth operator, a pure boxer. So after Oscar Valdez win his fight against Robinson, then he can move on to fight him and Shakur Stevenson, because Shakur is going into a match with Jamel Herring. Shakur Stevenson should win that fight. That fight has been set up and groomed for the longest. That's why they brought I think they brought Jamel Herring over there to Bomac, Jamel Herring trainer. So they've been sparring each other. They're used to each other. Shakur probably got the better work of that. That's why they having that fight. So I'm looking for Shakur Stevenson to win that fight. Maybe by a stoppage, maybe a late round stoppage. Shakur been sitting down on his punches trying to prove that he can punch. So I'm looking for Shakur to do a lot of good work in that fight against Jamel Herring. Plus, I just believe Jamel Herring need a different trainer if he's definitely going to fight Shakur Stevenson, because, you know, it could be some funny stuff going on with that. You know, Bomac, Shakur, and Bud Crawford are good friends, and Jamel Herring is the outcast. But maybe that's just my figure of speech, but I would like to see Jamel Herring maybe go with a different trainer. He even could go back to Mike Stafford in that situation if it was up to me. But I believe Shakur Stevenson will win that fight. So that would set up a unification bout between Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur Stevenson is definitely going to knock off Oscar Valdez. So Shakur Stevenson will gain that. Or maybe with Top Rank, they might, Shakur, once he win the belt, he might jump up to 135. Shakur is looking for greatness, so he don't have to unify the belts with Oscar Valdez. That can set up the title fight for Albert. If I was Top Rank and Bob Arum, I would just let Shakur beat Jamel Herring, and then from that point on, we can move on to create another top-ranked fighter, which is Albert Bell, who will go undefeated, maybe fight a top-ranked fight. So that would be the perfect bout. Shakur don't have to knock off Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez could stay at that weight because he's naturally a small fighter, so he's perfect to stay at 130 pounds. So I think the matchmaking over at ESPN will follow that layout, because why would you knock off two undefeated fighters where you can have Shakur, because he's naturally taller and bigger, he can move up to the 135 pound division, because you probably gonna have Lomo after he fights on Tiafimo out of the way, and then so you can keep building great fighters and having good fights. So that's the matchmaking I think that's going to go down with Top Rank. So I'm looking for my boy Albert, the Prince Bale, the smooth operator from Toledo, Ohio, to get his shot next year, 2022, after Shakur Stevenson beats Jamel Herring. He will, in my opinion, he will vacate the belt and move on up. And Albert Bale by then will be highly ranked, because this fight on the 14th against Julio Cortez is just a stay warm fight. And then plus it'll get Albert used to a rough and tough fighter, because Albert needs that, because in the eliminator bout or for the vacant title, Albert definitely gonna have to fight a rough and rugged guy like that. So these are the steps that Albert and his management team, Vic Green and his promoter and Top Rank, is definitely making. So my prediction, Albert the Prince Bale from my hometown will be champ in late 2022. These are the words for the one and only boxing guru for this episode of Under the Microscope, Albert the Prince Bale.
Subscribe to me if you want more of the Boxing Guru Show.
Come get it. 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 Come get it.